If you enjoy truthful and heartfelt conversations to inspire you to become a better version of yourself, Empowering Stories will help you. Hello, Anthony. How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm here in very snowy Prague, so thank you very much. And it's minus 7-8 degrees. So, but I'm very happy being here. So, how are you?
I'm delighted to have you in the program. Anthony is a very good friend of mine, a very good friend of ours, of the family. And he is one of the kindest souls I've ever met. We met, I don't know, a few years ago, 2, 3, 4, who cares? But I'm sure that we've been connected for thousands of years.
Yeah,
and I would prefer you, Anthony, to introduce yourself, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. What a great introduction. So I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you and Owen. We've had some good experiences together, some crazy experiences together. So I appreciate that. What I do primarily is work with people on abundance. Abundance is generally the result of a lot of the stuff I do. So the way I kind of see abundance is a feeling, not an achievement. You either feel abundant or you don't. And a lot of people are striving for success or abundance because success is the exact same thing. You either feel successful or not. And that's always an internal thing, but people are trying to seek these things externally. So they're trying to seek abundance through having a lot of money. Then I'll feel good about myself to go and get a relationship or whatever. And the exact same thing with success. So ultimately, for me, when people start feeling abundant, they start feeling enthusiastic about themselves and start feeling enthusiastic about their lives. And that creates flow. So as they say, as everybody knows, enthusiasm is infectious. And the reason is because the person loves who they are and what they're doing. And as a result, the energy flows towards that. Now, to start really tapping into that stuff, into your own abundance and stuff like that, you do need to face into your stuff, but it'll never be achieved externally. And we all know the story of somebody who's created a business and done all these amazing things, but still feels unfulfilled inside, because part of them was seeking that, and it's seeking externally because there's some trauma or hurt or whatever internally. What I see repeatedly, time and time again, is that as soon as we feel that hurt part of ourselves, we're able to go like, well, why am I seeking success? Why am I seeking abundance or seeking achievement? And it's basically to feel good enough or whatever. But why do you want to feel good enough? So I can have a relationship or have a family or some more emotional thing. So people are always seeking emotions. We may say money, cars, whatever, but it's ultimately the feeling that they're trying to satiate at the end. So people want happiness. That's a feeling. So if we bypass a lot of the thing stuff and just go straight to the feelings and start feeling what's making us happy or not happy, then we can start moving this stuff and moving the energy to actually start directing it towards what we want. So a lot of people, me and you spoke about this before, which is the book Power versus Force. I think a lot of the personal development stuff before was very much about, even though they said willpower, it was very much will force. That to me now is much more stressful. So all the stuff that I've really achieved that's been really fulfilling for me has all come from being in my own power, being enthusiastic about myself and my own life, and then things just flow. So I've kind of rewired things regarding willpower, and I call it will force. Whereas now, in building up people's personal power within themselves, they just automatically take action. So a bit like when somebody wants chocolate, they just go and get it. There's no force. Yeah. There's no force. And actually, to try and stop yourself from getting it is the challenge. And you need willpower to do. You need will force to do that. So for me, I pay much more attention to the ebbs and the flows of things now. And once people start stepping into their power, they automatically become clear on what they want. And in coming clear on what they want, they just move towards it. There's no goals, there's no striving, there's no struggle, there's no anything. And then they just get it. But there's a bit of work to be done to get people into their bodies, get them into their own feelings, because most people, because the way we grew up in the world, are trying to avoid their feelings. And we just need to turn it around and start directing our attention back towards our own feelings. And once we can listen to ourselves, then the younger part of us starts coming alive. We start coming alive, and it stops becoming a monotonous, hard work thing from our head, where we have to force our day, we have to go to work, we have to do this. We start feeling like, actually, I really hate my job. Like, I really hate my job. But that automatically creates flow towards consciousness, which is moving from reactive to proactive towards what we want.
Yeah, something that I wanted to add, Anthony,
Sure.
For our audience, is that you and I had some sessions live and on the phone as well.
Yeah.
It helped me so much. And one of the aha moments that I had with you was, whatever makes you feel bad, face it, feel it in your body. Where is it? And then acknowledge it, because the reason why that negative, what you call negative emotion, or that negative impulse, pain, shadow effect, whichever way you want to call it, it needs acknowledgement. Just accept it, and then you can move on. For me, that was mind-blowing, because like most people, is that's negative, I run a mile from it, but it's just on our backs. It's just stayed here.
Oh, for sure. And like the example I gave was about work. Like we may be saying, like, we may look at work or a job or our business as like, this makes perfect sense, I should be doing this. But in our heart, it's saying, I hate this. So now we're calling this painful feeling in our heart and in our guts negative, and we end up judging ourselves. But really, it's just a misalignment. So by us actually listening to our feelings, going like, no, I actually hate this, straight away, all our stress goes. We actually feel relief, and we feel clean and clear, and we go, oh, that's what it was. I've just been torturing myself for the last 6 years because I call these negative emotions, but they're not. It's our body just giving us feedback. We either like something or we don't. It's super binary. And the more we pay attention to what we like and what we don't like, we can go like, I don't like it for this reason. Okay, I'm clear. Fine. I don't like it because of some insecurity. Right, I can do something about that. And then we automatically become more clear on what we want to take action on. It's super simple. And it's just about slowing down and not being afraid of our feelings. And we get a lot of concepts in the way, but
and in my experience, and you can tell us from your point of view as a coach and personal as well, there's so many layers upon layers upon layers. I remember years ago saying, I don't like working on Sundays. I could hardly sleep because I didn't want to go to work on Monday. And when I was there, I was checking the time for Friday to be away from it. And don't get me wrong, when I was there, I did my best, as best as I could. But I didn't want to be there. And if I had a magic wand, off I went. I mean, I wouldn't go back to work, which I cannot say now because But you see, that was so negative, but only with the perspective of time, I could see, why was I selling my time to get money, not to depend on a man? But I didn't know back then. I can see it now. And then I discover more and more layers and more layers. What can you tell us about this, all these onion layers?
The first and most important thing, like you've heard me saying this, and I kind of say it ad nauseum, is the concept of positive actually creates negative. If I say think a positive thought, what does that make every other thought, essentially? So now you're in judgment. So positive and negative creates judgment. We have thoughts, they either work or they don't. Feelings, they either work or they don't. Super binary. Because certain concepts are in the way, like having a positive mindset, like that doesn't actually mean anything, but everybody collectively agrees on that statement. That's what you're supposed to do. But having a positive mindset basically causes people to ignore their feelings. Whereas if we pay attention to our feelings and realize all our feelings all of the time are empowering, we may not like them, but they're empowering. It may be painful, maybe whatever, but it's given us some feedback. I like it or I don't. Once we realize that they're not positive or negative, and then because that causes us to push away, which is actually negative, which then is rejection of ourselves. So then we're caught pushing our own feelings away. Yet ultimately, what we want is to feel happy. We want to feel abundant. We want to feel successful and enjoy life. Yet we're rejecting our feelings that are just telling us we like something or we don't like something. Super simple. The more we actually step in and realize that our feelings are loving us, and that's how we actually end up loving ourselves, is by listening to ourselves. If I was to say to you, you need to love yourself more, that's actually a criticism. It's a judgment coming from where I'm perceiving you. If I help you, and this is what I do, and you know I can feel all sorts of stuff. If I help you feel your own hurt, automatically we connect more, and both of us get an experience that feels more loving, because we're then feeling that younger part of you that feels hurt for whatever reason. And then you felt loved, heard, acknowledged. That part of you then integrates energetically into your body, and you have more energy to take action on. So for me, all the time when I'm looking into my own energies and my own feelings, I'm loving myself. I'm amplifying my energy. I'm becoming more powerful. I'm getting more information and more growth from myself. Once we start shifting our perspective and getting away from positive mindset stuff and start shifting our perspective into ourselves and into our feelings, that we're giving ourselves more power, more energy, more love, more attention, more affection, everything that we're seeking externally, then dealing with all these emotions and feelings is an opportunity. So now we can look at all this onion peeling and start going, give me more of it. Give me more of it, because this is me pulling myself back from this trauma and pulling my energy back from this time, mothers, fathers, business partners, whatever. We're taking our energy back. As we take our energy back, then our energy starts to flow, because we're not scattered all over the place. We've all had the feeling where we can't get this argument out of our head. Like, just, it's stupid at this point. I don't care. All of that's resolved. Yet there's some pull. There's some energetic entanglement with that person. All we need to do is start looking at it, get the lesson from it, and feel into it. It's always our stuff. But as soon as we get the lesson, that energy stops. Our energy comes back, and then we can move off in a different direction. And it's like an elastic band.
Because at the end of the day, everything is about ourselves.
All the time.
Whatever we see out there, it's us there. It's us.
Yeah, all of the time.
A question that I have for you. Everybody talks, oh, I'm loving myself more, and I need to love myself more, and you need to love yourself more, from judgment. From what you say, it seems like loving myself, and everyone can talk about themselves, is about accepting myself as I am. It's about forgiving myself for the judgment that I went through.
Yeah.
That's all. So it's something different. It's not, oh, I'm taking half an hour free and I'm going to soak into a warm bath. Yeah. Which could be as well, but maybe that's the idea that we have. Do you think?
I totally agree with you. So I pay attention to flows of energy all of the time. So if I say I need to love myself more, does my energy increase or decrease? I'm actually judging myself and I feel criticized by that statement. Yeah, all the time. So what is the feeling I'm creating in that statement? Like,
I'm not enough.
Yeah, exactly. So the actual concept of loving yourself is the actual issue. Does that make sense?
Say that again.
The actual concept of loving yourself is the actual issue. Because if we just park that and just go, I'm going to listen to myself. Yes. Just get rid of that and then just go, oh, I need to listen to myself. What's my body saying? Oh, I hate this or I love that. Grand. But there's no nonsense in the way. For me, once I started getting away from concepts and started feeling what I was saying and feeling what other people were saying, then I started feeling to think. And it's feeling to think that gives us everything. So we either like something or we don't. All meaning comes from feeling. We can think about something till the cows come home. If we desire some chocolate, well, it's bound to happen. We can't stop thinking about it. But it's also if we're hungry, if we're in love, if we're horny, like it's all feeling driven. And the more we pay attention to our feelings, the more we're in tune with life, with energies, with ourselves, and the more we're able to move towards it. It's actually, for me, getting rid of the concepts, the pontificating, and actually feeling what I'm saying. So as soon as I started moving towards feeling what I was saying, I was using all the same language as everybody else, going like, I need to love myself more. I feel criticized. That obviously does not work. I feel worse by that concept. So what do I need to actually do to actually move forward in life? Well, I actually really need to start acknowledging myself. I need to start telling the truth about myself. And then automatically, I can't argue with, I've done 100 push-ups today. I just can't. No matter who you are, you can try and ruin it whatever way, but you've done 100 push-ups and you have to feel, even if it's only 1%, you have to take that on board, because that's talking about something real rather than some airy-fairy concept, which is loving yourself. For me, as soon as I start feeling things, I automatically get practical, and then I can take action on things.
Bottom line is living from the heart. Listen to the heart. That's me. And then get the monkey mind to work for us.
Absolutely.
Does
Absolutely.
Make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. Heart and guts all the time. Our gut knows everything that's going on at the moment. Our gut is connected to everything at the moment, and that is being here with our feet on the ground, our base chakra connected to the ground. This is present, and this is the biggest issue for most people, is actually being able to be on the ground rather than up in their head. Once we start really bringing our attention down, and I do this with clients and meetings and all the time, is like, as soon as I start feeling my feet on the ground and my bum in the seat, as soon as I say that, the actual language starts logging in your head that as soon as I feel my feet on the ground, my bum in the seat, I guarantee you did it, whether even if you're conscious of it or not. So we feel our feet on the ground, our bum in the seat. Now we're present. That's it. A lot of the stuff, like the mindfulness books, like, you don't need a book on mindfulness. You just need to feel your feet on the ground, your bum in the seat. Now you're starting to move into your body, but that's looking at what works versus a concept. Concept is to slow the brain down. But if you're trying to slow the brain down, going like, slow the brain down, slow the brain down, slow the brain down, slow the brain down, you're caught in your head. Or you can just feel your feet on the ground, your bum in the seat, and now you're present. And the more you pay attention to your feet and your bum in the seat, the more present you are. And that's it. But that's what works versus a concept. It's in feeling these concepts that we then start being able to navigate and feel what works or doesn't. It either feels good or it doesn't. It feels productive or not, or true or not. True is always empowering, but it may be painful. We may not like the truth, but it'll always be like, all right, I have to do that or whatever. And what's not true will always inhibit your energy. It'll always be disempowering. A good example we've already used is, you need to love yourself more. Does that increase energy or decrease energy? It kills energy. It just kills it. Is that true? No. You need to accept parts of you. You need to acknowledge parts of you. You need to start telling the truth about yourself. Now energy starts flowing. The concept gets in the way. Good rants on this.
Yes, fear. Fear is the word that comes to my mind, because when it's the truth and it goes that way, immediately our body, our mind shrinks and says, oh, I'm so fearful, I'm so fearful. However, on the other side, if you pierce through the fear, on the other side, it's empowerment.
Again, just like love, I love you. We know each other a long time. There's an indescribable connection. That's love, but that's indescribable. Any of the concepts of love then have to be nonsense. Any of the stories or any of the stuff. Connection's real. As soon as we listen to fear, we realize there's something deeper going on. So again, just like love, I just park the concept of fear. Just fear doesn't exist in my reality at all. There is a feeling going on that's giving me some feedback in some way. I may say language-wise within myself, I'm afraid of this skydive, which is true. That is true. But then I can have a conversation with myself and go, but do I really want to do it? And then it's yes. And then the energy dissipates. And now we're clear and we can just take action on it. It's mad, but it's actually the concept of fear that everybody's trying to, again, reject their feelings instead of actually facing in and going like, what am I actually afraid of? Afraid is a more internal word. So if we say, I have a fear of dogs, it's like, it's kind of a thing, just the way we language it. Whereas if I say I'm afraid of dogs, there's more ownership, and it actually brings it into our body more. And then we can have a conversation with that. And it's just a perception thing. It's not the same for everybody. But on a whole, people say, I have a fear of dogs, and it's a possession and it's a thing. And then we try and get rid of it and reject it and push it away instead of owning it fully and saying, I am afraid of dogs. Okay, now we can have a conversation, and now we can start feeling it, because it just brings it into our bodies more. It's all about just listening to ourselves, listening to our feelings. We can go into a multitude of things. This morning I was about to do push-ups and I was procrastinating, and I was going like, why am I procrastinating? It's like, park the concept of procrastinating, because that causes contraction, and go, and there was some stuff going on around needing to impress people. And that was causing conflict within me. I was like, I don't. All right, grand. Now, and I just went and did my push-ups. But that just feeling just needed to be acknowledged for 30 seconds. I had to write it out because I couldn't feel it properly. And then I just went and did my push-ups. It's mad.
Yes.
Whereas people are forcing all this stuff all of the time.
Yeah. How do we take the first step? Because we're talking, for instance, being scared of dogs. You can own it, you cannot. But for some people, that's an identity, because that brings attention, and deep down, what they want is attention. How can I bring attention towards me? Or if I see, if I put up a show every time I see a dog on the screen, I will feel pampered by people around me. How do I get rid of that, which is disempowering, because it empowers me to get the love from others?
Yeah, so that's just a slightly different mechanism. So I was just being super precise on the word fear. There's like all this deeper payoffs. Like for that person, start looking towards what the payoff is, just like you, and you're going, this person wants that. Like they're saying this, but you can see emotionally and you can feel emotionally there's some payoff in it. But it comes from you feeling what's going on. It's like, and again, it's like it's us projecting onto it as well. But we only know that feeling because we've done it. Like we've sought attention that way. That's why it's familiar. Gossipers are always telling you who they are. Like literally word for word, verbatim. They're gossiping, but that is them to actually see that. In us recognizing that pattern or having worked through that pattern, then we're able to see that and then ask that person, it's like, so is that getting you what you really want? And they'll go, oh yeah, I'm just afraid of dogs, and they'll avoid and all sorts of stuff. That's a payoff. That's a reward. And again, it's right back to like, it either pays off or it doesn't. It either works or it doesn't. We have to become clear on like, is being afraid of dogs paying off for me? Yes. Am I okay with that still? That's up to that person then at that point. Can you get that love in a more effective way?
Exactly. Probably. Because it's a kind of, there's a conflict there. It's a catch-22. I get this payoff, but this payoff is coming from outside of me.
Yeah.
Am I big enough to go to the next step and drop my fear of dogs, or
whatever,
drop
the story,
whatever the story is, and just be a big person and own it, and take it from there. And I don't need anybody to acknowledge me, because if we've been doing that for 35, 40, 50 years, what are the chances? Oftentimes
this stuff crops up in a very detrimental way. The person is seeking attention from their partner. Say, this is all hypothetical now, but that person's seeking attention from their partner. So then they become agoraphobic, afraid of dogs outside in the world. And then the partner just gets sick of dealing with that and leaves. So now this person is completely isolated on their own, and they have to start looking at their own stuff. Then the pattern comes up or not. Either they're prepared to deal with it or not. If something is an effective pattern, everybody around you will benefit. They'll become more enriched, alive, and vibrant, all that sort of stuff. If something's a detrimental pattern, you'll become more and more isolated, and it's just a binary thing. Your energy is either increasing or decreasing all of the time.
You can get temporary fix by
Yeah.
playing victim, whichever way it is, but that's only temporary. But it
Yeah.
doesn't work medium long term because nobody will want to be with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I pay attention way more now. It's only really becoming a big dialogue in my head, like what I was saying about positive mental attitude, willpower, and all these things. The catch-22 in them is that you can do all that for a day. You can do all that for 2 days or 3 days. New habits don't get ingrained is because they're not coming from a place of high value. It's coming from a place of trying to force your way to a new habit or to a new behavior or whatever. And the trap is it pays off today. So it looks like if I just keep doing this, it'll work, instead of going like, oh, well, that habit didn't work and that habit didn't work and that habit didn't work. So obviously what I'm doing isn't working. So what do I need to change in this? Then you get into, why am I setting up these new habits, or why am I trying to willpower or whatever? And it's like trying to be successful, trying to be abundant, trying to be happy, trying to be loved, trying to whatever, but it's always trying to. And we can get to the deeper reason. It's like, well, I feel unlovable, unabundant, whatever, not good enough. Then we can sit with the not good enough and we can have a conversation with that younger part of you and go, what do you feel not good enough about? My financial situation. So have you made money this year? Yeah. Can we amplify on that? Yeah. So let's build on that. But it's focused on what you can do at that point. But it's feeling it, rather than all this fake it till you make it. I'll pretend to be abundant to whatever, and I'll willpower this to whatever. But the anchor is still caught way back when you were a kid or whatever. So you're trying to pull this elastic band, and the elastic band will always win because you're not unhooking it over here. And that's what causes stress, burnout, all that stuff. And the mad thing within it all, we look at, you probably know Gary Vaynerchuk. From his perspective, it looks like he just hustled 18 hours a day. But from my perspective, he just loved what he did. From when you don't have to figure all this value stuff out, you just do it. And it's blatantly obvious to him. And you can't empathize with somebody who has to struggle through what the vast majority of the people in the world don't know what they love yet. And they have to struggle through whatever the emotional stuff is to release it, to be able to feel powerful enough within themselves to see clearly what they want. Whereas he was able to see clearly what he wanted and just move towards it because he wanted it. And it was the emotional thing. He just wanted it, and it created flow. And he was able to work 18 hours a day because there was no stress. Whereas if anybody forces 18 hours of work a day, they'll burn out and fall apart. And the world is becoming more competitive in a non-competitive way, in that the people who love what they're doing aren't competing. They're just doing what they love. The people who don't love what they're doing are competing, and they're automatically making the people who love what they're doing better than them, instead of actually just going and carving your own niche and loving what you do. And then there's no competition whatsoever. Hopefully that made sense. It's a bit of a head juggle.
It makes so much sense, because you hear out there, oh, the 10,000 hours, you need to work hard to go to your dreams and be there all the time. It doesn't matter when you have to go through an effort. And to me, that didn't work. It never spoke to me. I thought that was a very masculine approach, like go this way and whatever it takes. And I never agreed with that. And now that nobody's listening, this fake it until you make it never agreed with me.
Yeah.
Just never did. And I never heard anybody like you saying, well, if it doesn't agree with you, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like I was hiding it, my shadow, you see.
Yeah.
Because you need to feel abundance before abundance comes to you. But if I was looking at my bank account and I said 50 euros, that was no abundance there. However, I did learn to see abundance in some other areas. But that's okay. I accept that my bank account is like that. But I also see abundance in nature. I see abundance in my children. I see abundance in my body. I see abundance of water coming out of the tap. I see abundance of air. There's so much air.
Yeah.
That I could do. But I couldn't fool myself saying, oh, I'm abundant, I'm rich, I'm wealthy.
Nonsense.
But I didn't feel that way. And I didn't see it anywhere.
Yeah. It's total nonsense. I remember talking to this guy. He was saying, I'm the most confident salesman. I'm the most confident salesman. It's like, if you have to say you're the most confident salesman, you're blatantly not the most confident salesman. Like, it's like literally like Honest John's car sales. Like, why do you have to say honest? Shifting things slightly, because affirmations work, but they have to be true. So I park the concept of affirmation and I just say truths. So you can acknowledge that 50 euro in your bank account. You can acknowledge the job that you have that gets there. I have this job and I have this 50 euro and I can make more money. That's all true. And automatically our energy starts flowing. Once it's true, our energy flows. And then we start seeing through that lens. I've had plenty of big experiences regarding money that's made things real. If one person says, I can be a millionaire, and they've like literally had no connection to that, it's just a pie in the sky, irrelevant number. There's no actual meaning to it. It's just a positive thought or a positive affirmation. Then it'll cause conflict because I'm not. And there's no connection to it. Whereas I'm lucky enough to have enough connection to people who've had millions and made millions, and I've seen opportunities, plenty of opportunities for me to make millions. So now it's real. So now I can say, and it'll create energy towards it. It's like, I can be a millionaire. I can have $1 million in my bank account. Now my energy moves towards it and I feel more abundant. So one is real. It's the exact same statement. One is real, the other one isn't. One creates flow and the other one doesn't. It's feeling what we're saying that actually creates all the actual flow. There's always an opportunity to increase our energy. So we may open our wallet and only have 50 euro, but we can say, well, I have 50 euro extra. I can save it. That'll make me feel a bit more abundant. Boom. Grand. And now we're starting to move our energy towards it rather than going, oh, I only have 50 euro.
Yeah, it's how we put the attention in it and how we feel it. As you say, is as we feel it.
And it's from here forward rather than there backwards the majority of the time. From here now, just here now, feet on the ground, bum on the seat. What's going to move my energy forward? What's going to move my feeling forward? Create more opportunity. Like we said, I assume the audience is all going to understand a lot of this, will understand the perspective on these things. We can be walking down the street saying, thank you for all the money in my life. Thank you for all the beautiful things in my life. Thank you for all the energy and the enthusiasm and all that sort of stuff. And we can amplify ourselves walking down the street. Or we can walk down the street looking through a lens, which is just a word of helping and healing. When we walk down the road saying, I want to heal somebody or I need to heal something in myself, what's going to pop up? You're going to automatically see through that word. And it's the exact same thing with help. So once we start feeling what we're saying, we start feeling how we're operating in the world. We can feel that underlying, I need help or I need healing or some painful statement. We're literally going to see that in the world. We're going to walk down the road and see it. Whereas if we start paying attention to what's true is, I got to this point in my life. I've survived everything. I've had a crazy life. What I've done is absolutely spectacular. I've gone from not knowing anything, not being able to walk, being completely unable to do anything, to all of the above, the countless billions of things I've learned. Now our energy's flowing. Whereas if we operate through the lens of healing or helping or whatever, we then victimize ourselves. And it's the words and it's the language that we use.
Wow, Anthony, so much wisdom. And I can tell from here that he walks the freaking talk. This is all experiential all the time. And I know that he feels what I feel because we've gone through that. So he can read inside of us. Amazing. Thank you so much. When people want to get in contact with you, because you can certainly help a lot of people if they want to.
Yeah.
Where do we send them
to be honest with you, I've been too abundant to even bother. But just give out my number. It's 00353 08709 88889.
We'll put it underneath the video. If you want to contact WhatsApp or give you a call.
Yeah, I think I'll just leave it with the number. People can send me a text. There's no point in sending out emails. Keep it all simple. People who want to step into their power, no problem. It's vastly easier than what? Vastly easier.
Yes.
But we need to be able to approach it in an effective way.
Yeah, I know for certain because I've experienced sessions with Anthony and they're very powerful and very simple, as you said. Very
super simple.
Anthony, I love you.
Likewise, I love you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Always appreciate you, and so thank you.
Thank you.